doing well. How about yourself? Good to see you. On the line part. I left it in the car. Hi. Oh, I got it. Oh, what am I doing?
Okay. Looks like it's gonna be a short and quick one today because there's not that many minutes. So feel free to ask questions at any point. But first thing we're gonna start out with is we want to make sure that, and initially, before we even go into creative lending, we want to understand our borrowers.
Sorry. There's too many meetings at the same time. Thank you.
We want to understand what stage our buyers in before we start getting creative. So actually, when I put this together, I was thinking, wow, these are really great tags for our CRM system, right? Because there's different buying opportunities for all different stages that people are in. So I think it's important for you to be able to categorize your clients and what stage they're in, because then that helps you focus on who needs certain kind of classes, what kind of properties or situations you want to market them to. But first-time home buyers, 30-something, people moving up, people who are self-employed, entrepreneurs, and investors. I like to lump them together because these people are always looking for creative options. Luxury buyers, divorced and separated, empty nesters and downsizing, people who are already retired or looking for homes for their parents, and then the other category. And you know what, I forgot to create a sign up sheet. Some piece of paper, you can, if you want the slides, put your email address on here, name and email address, please. Okay. So the way I find out what category that I should place these people in my head, in my CRM, is I start out broad and drill down. That was the best advice I ever got from a mortgage officer a million years ago when I first started in the business, didn't know about loans. I said, quick, I got an hour, tell me everything I need to know about loans, because I know nothing. And he said, get people talking. And I said, okay. He goes, they're going to think you're brilliant. The more you let them talk and you listen, they're going to think you're smart. So I always ask the very broadest questions. How can I help you? Tell me more about what you're considering, what you're thinking to do. And once they start talking, you're putting the pieces together and you're starting to get some idea of what direction you want to take them in. But then you also want to ask them, make sure you ask them about their kids. Do they have kids? How many? How old are they? And the reason that question is important because that's your annuity for the future. Because those kids are either going to cause them to eventually need a bigger home, they're going to cause them to eventually need to buy their kids a home, they're going to cause them to eventually become an empty nester, et cetera, et cetera. So kids are really important clues when it comes to homes and loans. So going back to the first buyer, our first time home buyer. So once you identify that, the kinds of questions you want to ask them is, you know, are you pre-approved? Are you working with a lender to get a pre-approved? And then are you looking for to go in with a minimal down payment? That's our assumption. Or, you know, leave it open-ended because not every situation is identical, right? They might have different things for you to consider. And I always love this tagline. I know a great lender who helps people in all stages of the planning process. She'll either pre-approve you for a loan today or tell you exactly what you need to get a loan in the future. Because the first-time home buyers are the ones who are too scared to start because they don't know what they don't know, which is they don't know anything. And they figure they're nowhere near ready, and maybe they're not. But it's better to know that you're not near ready than to think that you're not near ready when you really can be. And maybe it only needs a tweak. I think it was you that showed me that text of your guy who gave you his sketch. And I looked at it and I could tell just at a glance, this guy is on the cusp of being ready if he's not today. So if there's first time home buyer, I always drill from the best down. So I'll always look at the best loan options when I'm talking to somebody, and then I'll start going to the ones that are, okay, if this doesn't work, then I go to this, 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 and this. So conventional loans, 3% down for first-time home buyers. Obviously, the best place to go if you can get them in that program. If not, let's look at the FHA and VA. FHA is 3.5% down. They allow for a higher debt ratio. VA, definitely the way to go if you have somebody who qualifies for that, because that's usually a zero down program. Then if neither of these programs work, can you get your hands on some gift funds? If we're a little bit short on the assets, is there anybody who will help you out and gift you some money? If that won't work, anybody who will sign with you, co-sign with you, because that could definitely get you over a hump. And if that doesn't work, let's come up with your game plan. And that's where I'm going to sketch out for them exactly where they're short, what they need to save for, what they need to do with their credit, what they can expect, everything. When we get to the 30-somethings, the move-up buyers, kinds of questions we want to ask is, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a bigger and better home? What are you going to be doing with your departing residents? I think this is a super important question that gets missed. What are your real estate plans for the future? And why that's important is because you really want to understand, are they looking for their forever home today, or are they looking for a stepping stone? If you can't get them to that palace that they want today, then you can at least paint the picture or get them closer. A big yard is, like the guy said, a pool is important. Maybe it's not the pool, maybe it's the yard, who knows? How and when do you plan to assist your children with housing? And what about a vacation home? I can't think of a single person in this category who doesn't dream about having a second home. Common solutions for move-up buyers. Now I put the gold star on here because these guys can get any loan they want. They have cash, they have good credit, they have good jobs, they have it all. They have a house, they're not new to the game. So obviously the conventional and jumbo loans are the ones they're going for. They're looking for the best price typically, but where you can add value is don't let them just shop for price, because they're going to shop for price and they're going to get crappy service, or they're going to get jacked around and they're going to get turned down at the end for some stupid little thing. Instead, help them to find a lender for life. That's going to be important because these people are going to be buying many homes from you. And if you set them up early with somebody that you partner with and will do a good job for them, they're going to appreciate that and you will stick better with them. Another solution that I'm doing more and more of these days is this bridge loan and cross collateralization. So I just did one that I think is a super sweet deal. It's another realtor who said that she wanted to buy a place and she wanted to be able to make a non-contingent offer, and was there any chance she would qualify? So I looked at everything, and when you look at it from the straight lens of full documentation program and stuff like that, there's no way she would qualify to do that.
Because she's a realtor? I mean, because she's a.
Because she just didn't have enough income on paper, okay? But I found this really great deal where they'll look at 1 year of tax return, because obviously 20 was a crappy year, 21 was much better for her. They will not count her departing residents in the debt ratio. So I was able to easily qualify her with this program, and they had a very decent rate. It was like in the low 4s. So, I mean, you just never know. You get options with these kinds of people, and that's one of them. Cross collateralization, if you're not familiar, for anyone who hasn't heard me talk about that before, that's where they take their departing residents and their new residents, they put them together in one loan. They have, if there's enough equity in that loan, then they have one mortgage over both properties. And then after they buy the new home, they can sell the other one or do whatever they want with it, for that matter. And then rehab loans. So in this market where it's, say somebody wants to buy at 1.875 or whatever. They're looking at all the houses. They can't get in to save their lives. They're being outbid. The way I've seen some of these buyers get in is by just lowering their standards. You know, they'll go into a place that's only $1 million or whatever, that definitely needs work. And then they'll just use their cash instead of on all their down payment, they'll use it to rehab the house. So we can look at ways to help them do that. These again, you know, because these guys can get a loan from anyone, can buy a house from anyone, can get, you know, the world is their oyster. This is where we add value. That's where we clinch the deal.
Where do we have loans at now?
So, I mean, it's kind of all over the place. So, yeah. And these days with the rates moving around the way they are, you have to really look. This is personally my favorite category of client. They are self-employed, they are entrepreneurs, and or they are investors. Because there's so many options out there. We can get really creative with these people and they're always looking for stuff to do. It's just that spirit of, you know, I want to make this myself. I want to build my empire. My mind is open to any possibility. So with these people, they don't want to they do not want order takers. They want you to come to the table with some ideas for them. And with these kind of people, you never say no. You can say, I can't do it quite like that, but we can do this, you know, or have you thought about that? And anytime you do that with these clients, you got them for life. So some great questions to ask them. Are you looking for a full doc program or do you need something more creative? I don't think there's anybody out there, especially in this category, that doesn't understand the concept of a full doc program, which is basically we paper you to death. And the more complicated you are, which usually these people are, the more paperwork there is and the more ways there are to say no. So get more creative often causes that sparkle in their eye when you ask that. Would you like me to introduce you to a lender who specializes in self-employed borrowers? Do you own other properties? How many? They almost always own other properties. And this is a really good question to know because if they don't, they want more. If they do, they want more. You know, any way you look at it, these people want more and more houses. Will the house you want to buy be an investment property? That's kind of a loaded question because me as a lender, for example, I want to explore without even asking them as I'm getting their story, whether or not we can call it a primary or a second home. And then if that all fails, then I'm going to go into investments. So, but it's good to know where their mindset is at, you know, because are they planning to live in there? Great, it's a primary. Okay, cool, moving on. But if they aren't, if they have other ideas, then we might have to get more creative. And then love this one too. What is your investment strategy? Because this is where you're going to find out what they're looking for in life. So do they buy a bunch of single family residences and that's what they want to buy? They want to own 20 of them, or are they multifamily buyers? Are they looking for short-term rental situations? What are they looking for? Because if you don't know that, then you have no ability to send them ideas and things that are in their wheelhouse that are going to entice them. I was listening to this podcast, Bigger Pockets Real Estate podcast. Love it, it's so good. And they were saying that they were interviewing a realtor and they also interviewed an investor. And they asked the investor, what do you like, you know, what are you looking for in your realtor? And he said, you know, I want them to give me some ideas. I want them to come to the table with some thoughts. And I have one guy in Tennessee or, you know, wherever it is, who he just goes to Redmond and he sends me listings that he knows are exactly what I'm looking for. And I think that's great, you know. So they want you to feed them a little bit, you know, don't be afraid here. Okay, common solutions for entrepreneurs, always starting at the best, from the best to the, you know, less best. But obviously if they can qualify for the full doc conventional loans, great. That's going to give them the best pricing. And you know, that's fantastic. Usually 99% of the times they say, you ask them, how much do you want to put down? And they say, how much do I have to? Which means they want to put down the least amount possible. So having some low down payment options is important. Interest only, some people like interest only loans. So we have them, you know, for those people who do, because maybe it's a flip situation or some other sort of short-term need. Then if they don't want to do full docs, we'll look at their bank statements and we'll qualify them on their deposits and their bank statements. Or if it's an investment property, the DSCR debt service, I can never remember what those initials stand for. But basically, all that does is it qualifies you based on the cash flow ability of the property. You do not turn in any income docs at all, no tax returns, no nothing. And as long as the property is going to be, your PITI payment is going to be less than or equal to what you're going to get in rents, you're good, you're in. And there's even stated income programs that are coming back, but they're not as risky as the olden days. They do have higher down payment requirements, but they are out there. I have this one client who's constantly looking at houses and constantly asking me for a pre-approval letter, but doesn't want to give me his documents. And I finally said to him, look, I'm just going to give you a pre-approval based on a no-doc program, you know? And he's like, okay. And I was like, I didn't even think of that a long time ago. And then there's, of course, the market for the divorce. Oops, I wanted to try to fix that slide. The divorced and separated, which I'm very well acquainted with. And the questions you want to ask here, if it's not too personal, is your divorce final order process? And the reason that's important is because somebody's usually paying in a divorce. So if you're the one who's paying and your divorce isn't final yet, hurry up. Because then I don't have to hit you with that debt. If you're the one who's getting and your divorce isn't final yet, that's fine. But I need to show receipt of your support payments for at least 6 months before, you know, and have some sort of a separation agreement, and then we're good. Would you like me to introduce you to a lender who understands the unique challenges involved with divorce? And how long do you plan on living in the property? Because you don't know if this is going to be a stepping stone for them, or if this, again, they're looking for the permanent situation. Even I find that in divorces, many people try to keep the marital home. And personally, I think that's a mistake. I think you should just start fresh. You know?
And with kids, usually they can.
And that's usually the time when it makes the most sense, yes. And common solutions for divorcing buyers, there's no such thing, because every situation is very different, which is where, you know, somebody who is familiar with the divorcing situation and the not even divorce, just take divorce out of the picture, just somebody who knows their way around the standard conventional loans to the crazy, wacky, anything and everything in between, that's going to be important for those people because their situations are so funky. Empty nesters, people who are downsizing, people who are retired. I love the picture because, you know, there's a part of them that's very sad and then a part of them that's like, yeah, baby.
Right.
So questions for these people. What are you going to be doing with your departing residents? So, you know, there's opportunities there. Maybe they want to keep it for rental properties. Maybe they want to get rid of it. Maybe they want to not make a non-contingent offer on their next deal. Who knows? But it's an important consideration. Have you considered buying a vacation home for your future retirement? I think that that is a really cool way to do things. If you're ready to maybe plunge into that second home, but you're not quite ready to let go of your old life, buy some place where your dream cottage, wherever that may be, and someplace that you can picture yourself retiring to one day. Are you planning to put down 50% or better? Because there's some very good potential other options if they are. And will you be needing to assist with housing for your children or your parents? We always want to find out not only how we can serve them best in the moment, but just kind of what their overall picture is, what's their next moves. And, you know, we want to be a couple moves ahead of them so that we can help to position them and give them ideas. So for people who are retiring, retirement assets, man, I love it when they have that bucket of IRA money, because there's a lot I can do. I can qualify on that alone usually. Conventional loans, of course, cross collateralization, of course, and that 50% or better down payment question is really applicable with reverse mortgages. So this is a great option for people who have tons of equity. And a reverse mortgage allows somebody to be mortgage free the rest of their lives, or until they sell or refinance.
So lose their home.
No, there's no losing a home.
Reverse, they don't lose it to the bank?
No,
Oh.
no. And that's why maybe the old version, but
That's
now
what happened in my
that's,
family.
now that they require 50% equity before they'll even do the loan, that gives them a huge cushion. And if you, your house becomes upside down during the process and you pass or whatever, then, and your home's upside down, now they don't, it's a non-recourse loan, so that you're not responsible for, the heir's not responsible for anything at that point. So nobody's ever gonna come along and take the house from them. So if there's a balance, let's just say, pretend that they passed and there's a $200,000 loan balance, just like with any other mortgage, the kids can refinance it or sell it, whatever they want to, and get the remaining equity out. And then here's our famous other category, square peg in a round hole, foreign nationals, ITINs, construction and land, 5+ units, manufactured home, down payment assistance. I get asked about these things all the time. And if you're looking to specialize in anything, these areas are definitely up for grabs, because there's lots of people with questions and very few answers. So,
Are you doing manufactured homes?
I do, okay, so manufactured home is the #1 thing I get asked about on this list, and there are about 8 things that Fannie and Freddie require to be able to lend against it. If the home meets those criteria, then yes, I can do it.
It's the year, right?
Pardon?
It's the year it's manufactured.
That's part of it, yeah.
Okay.
And that's one of the 8
Okay.
things, yeah, but, and if they don't meet that criteria, then I don't know. I don't know where to go, so that's why if you want to specialize in it, you need to find out who to go to for this kind of stuff, because yeah, most of them in LA unfortunately don't meet the criteria. Outside of, no problem, like Riverside and stuff, no problem.
What's a manufactured?
Mobile home. But I do foreign nationals, I do ITINs, and the others, you know, construction and land, I don't really have a resource for right now. 5+ units, I may. Down payment assistance, I don't do, because it's just a lot of for very little reward. I think the same would probably be true for you guys. And that's it, short and sweet.
Are you gonna email this one again?
I will email you the slides if you gave me your email address. If anyone have any questions on it.
No, everybody's fine.
Give it Christine, but. Somebody give it back.
That's all over there.
Right.
Thank you. All right, you're so welcome. I was starting to, when a guy was talking, and I forget his name over there, who asked the question about what if somebody wants to buy now, what would your advice?
So let's go. Golf.
Goal, okay. So what my answer would be to that is, you should buy when you need and want, because it seems like real estate is almost as weird as the market in general. You can't time it. You know, if you have a need or a desire, or you see an opportunity, take it.
It's always a good time to buy if you get the right deal. but
Because,
it's
and
just
you
a matter
never
of-
know. I mean, did we know that the Ukraine was gonna go to war? Did we know that COVID was gonna hit? No. And those things are game changers. So if you have a need and want, just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, geez.
And
It's always a difference, like here, you know, I've been looking, I'm looking to buy.
I just made an offer on a house.
So you did?
Yeah. So
So
it's,
great. Yeah, so it all depends what you're, you know, I just keep waiting and waiting. It's almost like, I don't wanna say I don't care about the market, but truthfully, that's where I'm at. I don't care about the market. I want the house that I find that I want. And that's how I'm gonna make it work no matter what, when I find a house I want. I just haven't, I've been looking almost a year and I find it.
especially if you're gonna stay, if this is, you know, your long range plan, then
Yeah, this is my forever house.
yeah, then whatever, but you know, if you're looking to flip, that, then, you know, you might wanna be a little bit more judicious. I mean, anyway,
They're still doing it.
yeah, okay. Oh, I wanted to put in a plug for my next month class. It's a do not miss next month's class because I'm gonna do a deep dive for self-employed loans. So it's gonna be, everybody here is self-employed, right? So-
We need that.
So I'm gonna tell you
Clients, what is it?
exactly what you need to qualify for the good conventional loans and then how to, you know, what you need to do to set yourself up for all those other more creative.
What is it?
Second Tuesday, it'll be after the next meeting,
All right, the
Yes.
second Tuesday, the 12th.
probably. There'll be, you know, check the calendar, but yeah, don't miss that one.
I'm just gonna write go.
All right, guys, thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
I should probably stop.
Have you heard anything from LA with his application in LA?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.